to China, and we have also built some factories here. And this workshop is 11,000 square meters. This is the crayfish you have just captured from the Nile, and they're going to be salted and sent to the workshop for further processing. Let's take a look at this. This is fresh out of the Nile. We can see that it is really very fresh. They were captured in the morning. And this afternoon there will be another batch, which is from 1,000 kilometers away. And this factory site is much closer to the Nile. And we're going to play a video to show you the Nile. In the video, you're going to find the upstream, where is the birthplace of Nile crayfish. So crayfish here has a longer life cycle, and there are also a lot of other creatures in the Nile, such as other clams and the small fish. This is entirely raised in natural environment. This is totally from the wild. It's not farmed, and it feeds on the creatures in the river, and there is no pesticides being used on this crayfish, and the muscle of the crayfish is quite tight, and the shell is also very tough, because there is a very high content of calcium in the shell. It is relatively bigger in size. This is not really the best season, but for this one is already quite big. We can take a closer look at this particular crayfish, which is about 20 centimeters long, which is the equivalent of my hand. And you can find even bigger ones. This is only the average size. So Nile is really the very best cradle for crayfish in the world. We have taken a lot of visits to different countries to figure out where you can get the very best source of crayfish, and we finally found Egypt. So in such a natural environment, this crayfish should be quite eco-friendly, right? It is even better than organic, actually, because the environment has always been like this for almost 3,000 years. And now there are only some noises caused by the engines of all sorts of vessels. But apart from that, the water quality is still very good, and the environment is quite natural. And the water looks very clear, and you can also find weeds here. Exactly, because you have fishermen who have been fishing here for many generations, and the environment was kept in a very good shape. Probably when it comes to aquaculture, this is really one of the best in Africa. So this program is really focused on the Nile crayfish. It's not because the Nile crayfish is very tasty, is with excellent meat quality and a lot of nutrition. What's even more important is that the Nile crayfish has become such an important case in terms of the cooperation under the framework of the Belt of the Road initiative between China and Egypt. We'd also like to share with you some background knowledge of this crayfish. So for a lot of people, crayfish is a quite delicious dish. But for Egyptians, crayfish is not traditional food. Due to many reasons, they don't consume crayfish. And crayfish is a very important species in the Nile. It does two things. It kills some fish seeds. Usually, a lot of fishermen they suffer such a loss because their fish seeds were killed by crayfish. And also, crayfish can be a troublemaker for the fishing nets sometimes. This is the reason why the local people they actually hate crayfish. But after Chinese companies that are doing crayfish business came here, local people's life has been changed. In the past, this rascal of crayfish had created many problems for the local people, but now it had become a source of economic income. So, Mr. Han, my question for you is that now, since your company is operating here in the crayfish business, exporting this delicious dish to China, what changes can you brought to local fishermen's life? companies came here, crayfish was introduced to the local people as an economic dish, and they were also able to make some money from raising crayfish. So this particular species of crayfish has really offered a lot of opportunities to the local people. And we'd also like to ask Mr. Han another question. Now, every year, crayfish exported from Egypt to China. What is the total volume? Last year, we exported 2,750 tons, and this year we're going to export even more because we want to really make a difference to the local people's life, and we want to be more sustainable in our raising of crayfish, and we want to build up a rearing factory here so that we can achieve sustainable farming. So just now you mentioned the 2,750 tons as the total volume last year. And do you think this is going to affect the local species? Now, we have adopted many approaches. We have adopted capturing nets with bigger sizes. And for crayfish that's lighter than 30 grams, they will not be captured by the capturing nets. And for the smaller crayfish, they will stay in the river. And we've also shared with the local fishermen in September when crayfish is breeding. We will not capture crayfish, and we do not allow the local suppliers to capture crayfish in this season. And we also reached a consensus with the Ministry of Agriculture of Egypt to issue some bans on the capturing of crayfish in September, because fishing in that season can be really a problem for sustainability. And so we really try to work together with the local government to provide a legal basis for the ban. For 3 to 4 years, we have invited 100 million RMB in Egypt. We've built 2 major factories. One is 5,000 square meters, the other is 11,000 square meters, and we've also made investment in other instruments such as the carts to carry all the crayfish and the fishing nets, etc. So we are committed to making long-term investment in Cairo, in the Nile, and in Egypt, and we want to have long-term partnership with local fishermen. And I knew a lot of fishermen's kids, and I made friends with local fishermen. I share with them all the time that 20 years from now, I hope we can still sit together and have a cup of tea talking about all the benefits brought by crayfish farming. We can tell that this business of crayfish farming has really changed local people's life, and it is also trying to show how the Belt and Road Initiative is going to change the fate of a lot of people in other countries apart from China. So now we'd like to go back to the factory in Cairo and see how crayfish were being processed and packaged and exported all the way to China. So the video was shot when we were in the Nile shores, and today we're back to the factory site to bring you this live streaming of the processing of crayfish. After being processed, crayfish will be put in the chill storage and will be transported back to China. So we'd like to learn a few things about the processing of crayfish. Now, Mr. Han, could you please show us around? This morning, we captured the crayfish from the Nile, from a location that's closer to a factory. And our local workers are trying to sort crayfish. And as you can tell, it is of very high quality and very fresh. Every day, there will be 20 tons of crayfish being shipped here. And now it is a little bit too cold, so there is only a dozen tons of crayfish being shipped here. And when it gets warmer, we will reach 20 tons per day. This is purely raised in the Nile without any contamination, entirely in the natural environment. Now we can go inside the workshop. The sorting is conducted by tens of people. Based on different sizes, crayfish will be sorted into different groups. And we can also look at how sorting is being conducted. And you can tell that a crayfish is coming continuously, and they are of different sizes. This is really a very heavy work for us. It takes a lot of workload. So this is like a 70 gram, a pretty big one. So 70 gram, this one. It's very healthy and strong as a crayfish. And you can hardly find such a big crayfish in China, right? Exactly. For this kind of a crayfish, every day you can only get 1 ton of it out of the 20 tons. And this is our sorting line. We developed such a processing process based on the characteristics of the crayfish here. This is the process of weighing. So crayfish of different weights will be put into different places. So how many classes of crayfish do you have? We have 6 classes. We have below 20 gram, and 20 to 40, and 40 to 60, and 60 to 80 grams. So there are 6 different classes in total. It is really heavy work to do to sort crayfish according to their weight. This is going quite fast, as I can tell. Every day there will be 20 or even 30 tons of crayfish being sorted, right? Exactly. This year, it is colder, and usually in this season, there is already a lot of processing taking place. But this year, we are a little bit slower to reach the peak. Usually, in the afternoon, in the evening, there will be more crayfish coming from a longer distance, because the morning batch was coming from a closer location. So we can look at the next step after sorting is cleaning. Now, this is the second step, which is cleaning. This is also a continuous operation. We have cleaning, we have spraying, then we have resorting, and we have cheesing and chilling, and we then have frying. So they are all connected in a seamless way. And we have some division of different processing because there are different temperature requirements. Now, let's look at the specific processing of crayfish. This is the cleaning step. We use a lemon acid of 10% concentration to clean the crayfish. So for all the algae and some planktons, they will be cleaned by this step. So this is about
这个就要长了，我们可以看到这个的，对，这段比较长啊。那么这样的话呢，它的这个身上这些附着物呢，就会100%的剔除掉，就会有一个很干净的这个外观啊，很干净的这样的一个基础条件，然后进入到下一步进入到这个冷却的这个工艺里，冷却和干燥。对，这个工艺是我们在国内经过比较长时间研究的，一个生产工艺啊。那我们接下来看的就是进入到这个降温干燥的这个环节啊，这是我们可以看到这个。我只按着就行了，是吧？对，降温和干燥的环节啊，这是为小龙虾呢下一步的这个油炸的工艺呢做准备啊。这个我们看到这个小龙虾呢是已经非常干净了啊，外观都已经非常干净了。可以把这个给通过生产线给这个展示一下，这个是经过处理以后的小龙虾，对，这个个体呢非常活跃，然后呢，这个身上的这些附着物呢都已经很
and it's very vibrant. You can find all the attached impurities have been washed off. It's so clean, and of course, you can tell from the surface that it is very strong and healthy, and the meat quality is also excellent. So after this treatment, after drying, we're going to enter the phase of frying. So after drying, it's frying, right? Exactly. So this distance from drying to frying is 6 to 8 meters through the conveying belt, and the temperature of frying is 220 Celsius degree. So after frying, you can find the color has changed to this red color. And we also sort of take the temperature measured, and inside the crayfish it is 89 Celsius degree, and we will prevent the crayfish from further oxidation. So the temperature at the core of the body is 89, as we mentioned, and this temperature can keep crayfish from decay. After frying, the temperature is actually even higher than 89. After frying, we are going to enter the phase of pre-packaging. But before pre-packaging, you have a chilling process again. So this is the chilling channel. This is connected with the chilling workshop, actually, which is another standalone workshop. Now we can take a look. Now, this is the chilling workshop. So all the processing procedures are strictly complying with the most stringent standards in China for crayfish processing. Usually for the chilling, it is about minus 5 Celsius degree. It is 5 Celsius degree, and now we are maintaining the temperature at 2 Celsius degree. We can go to the chilling workshop where you can find a rotating equipment for chilling. We require the temperature to be lower than 5 Celsius degree. So this is the workshop for chilling. It takes 20 minutes from a surface temperature of 100 Celsius degree. The temperature will drop to lower than 20 Celsius degree, and the temperature in this chilling workshop is 2 Celsius degree. So by having this immediate chilling after frying, you're going to sort of lock all the nutritions and the flavors, and also keep the possibility of decay from happening. It is almost impossible for crayfish after such a treatment to decay. And this belt is taking the cooled crayfish out for pre-packaging. And now we're going to see how pre-packaging will be conducted. For some of the crayfish, we will have a very clear look at how the gill has been cleaned. It is very white in a way, and the next step is going to be pre-packaging, as we mentioned. For crayfish of different batches of different weights, they will be pre-packaged into different classes. There are 6 classes, as we have mentioned. This is for 40 to 60 gram crayfish. And all the operators working here are recruited from Egypt. So we have different packs. We have a pack of 14, 16, or 20 crayfish. After pre-packaging, we'll move on to the process of injecting oil in the package. Because it is still in the morning, so we only opened one production line. We have dozens of workers working here. Some of them are from China, some of them are recruited locally. So this is pretty much how the pre-packaging is all about. We are also selling the crayfish in our own channels, but also on e-commerce platforms in China, such as Taobao.com. So the reason why we are injecting oil in this is because we want to prepare the crayfish for freezing, because the oil can become the medium inside the package to really stop oxygen from getting in our way. We also have an intellectual property for this freezing treatment of crayfish. It can prevent the crayfish being contaminated with air, with oxygen, or other gases. And here you can finish the packaging of the pack. Yes, passing through this channel, we will sort of extract all the air inside the package so that there will be a vacuum inside the package. There is no source of contamination, and in that way we can really keep the freshness of the crayfish. And then the crayfish will be transported back to China through air transport. Exactly. But there is going to be another step to finish, which is by using liquid nitrogen to have a further freezing of the crayfish. And we spent 5 years on developing such a solution for the freezing. It is also very much based on the characteristics of the local conditions in Egypt. You can see our local operators, they are working on the vacuum machine. And the local people, they are very hardworking. So the crayfish was captured from the Nile. And after how many hours can it reach the dining table of Chinese consumers? It takes about 12 hours for us to finish the processing, and for the rest, usually it takes less than 24 hours. So after crayfish was captured, they will reach the dining table of Chinese consumers within 36 hours. We've really done a lot to make sure that the freshness of the Nile crayfish can be guaranteed, and it can reach the dining table in Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen as soon as possible after they have been captured, and also to some restaurants in China. So this is really incredible. It is captured directly from the Nile and all the way transported back to China with such a short period of time. Exactly, because now we have already set up capturing sites along the Nile, and the total length of our capturing range is around 10,000 kilometers. And every day we have a lot of operations going on. We know that Aswan is 1,800 kilometers away from Cairo. And this afternoon, we're going to receive a batch of crayfish from Aswan. And for the crayfish that we are looking at just now, they are from the vicinity of Cairo. And after they are processed, they're going to take on a flight which is scheduled to reach Beijing at 2:45 tomorrow afternoon, because we have a factory in Shunyi district which is only 1,000 kilometers from the Beijing International Airport. That means we can have further treatment of the crayfish completed very quickly, and by 6 or 7 p.m. it can reach the dining table of Chinese consumers. Just now, I saw 90% of your workers here are local people. Yes, they are recruited locally, Egyptians. And what is the percentage of Egyptian workers? It's around 80 to 90%. And you also have workers from other countries. And we have been very carefully in terms of compliance of recruitment, of employment. And we have several shifts. We have the morning shift, afternoon shift, and evening shift. We have hundreds of workers. And for the peak hours, we have 400 to 500 or even 1,000 Egyptians working at the same time in our factories, because we have another factory, as we mentioned. in Egypt, the culture is that usually you have a housewife and husband goes out to work to make ends meet for the family. So if there is one guy that you can find, there is a family behind him. Last time, we also mentioned that we have tens of thousands of people working for us if you take in account all the people who are working along the Nile River, helping us to capture the crayfish. And also, we have sourced all the ingredients locally. For all these ingredients, all the packaging materials, and for all the logistic costs, the total expenditure reached 60 to 70 million Egyptian pound. So that means we are also a major taxpayer for Egypt. So from the capturing to processing to production of crayfish, you have localized this production here. And this is also making contribution to the local industry development. Exactly. Before we came here, we decided to make it a 20-year effort. So now, with the Belt and Road Initiative, some national governments of other countries, they used to be discriminative against private companies from China, because some private companies from China used to be too short-sighted, and they were exploiting the local resources and causing some damages. But we are very much different. And when we first started our program, we decided to make it into a 20-year-long business, and we made decisions that focused on long-term gains rather than short-term profits. And we don't want to cause ecological damage to the local environment. In Myanmar, we've seen some Chinese businesses, they were over-exploiting the rosewood in Myanmar. And in only 4 to 5 years, we have seen 50% of the local rosewood resources was being destroyed. The local government, the local people weren't very happy about this. So we don't want to cause such ecological loss to the local environment. And we really want to reiterate the principle of shared future for community. This is really for the human society. This is really about how can we create a sustainable development for the local community. That's what mattered. Otherwise, if you only look at what you can get from the nature, then you're going to lose sight of what you probably can cost the nature. We know that the Nile is very important river for Egypt, and the water quality of the Nile is kept in a very good shape, and we don't want to bring damage to the Nile, and we want to be very eco-friendly, and only in that way can we build the basis for our long-term collaboration with Egyptian government. We have visited 40 to 50 countries in recent years, and we sincerely felt that a short-term effort sometimes can benefit a few, but in the long run, maybe there will be some long-term issues for the local ecology and environment, and the local government, the local people will also be unhappy about our behaviors and probably having a hostile attitude towards us. So we really try to make things in a different way. Now, we have a lot of local employees here who have been employed by us for many years, and we have become good friends to each other. And we have also seen some marriages being achieved between our Chinese staff and the local people. And usually we give a bonus of 5,000 Egyptian pound to those who have got married with the local people. And we really want to see more and more collaboration, which is not purely about economic gains, but also about having people of different races getting married and building a blood bond. we've seen such happy marriages being achieved, and really want to see this go even further. So, ladies and gentlemen, just like we have mentioned, the Nile crayfish gets to become the antagonist of our program. It's not only because it is of premium quality, of excellent meat quality and nutrition. What's even more important is that it is bringing a myriad of contributions to our cooperation under the Belt and Road Initiative, and it is really creating some concrete benefits to the local people. I do believe with the Belt and Road Initiative being further promoted, there are going to be even more beautiful stories, just like the crayfish from the Nile being exported to China. With this, I'd like to conclude this program. Thanks for watching.